pun intended, in game 1 and 2, but in the 3 we saw people making a lot of low streaks and that put them on the line. They couldn't survive until the end, and with one round we had to see 2 or 3 get knocked out in a single round. Now in this game, will the augments be prismatic on the first? Will they be grey? Will they going a little bit slowly? Or will it be gold? And again, the camera is on our Balotelli, the one I chose for the spotlight. He was able to be top 3 at game 1, but luckily in game 1 he made it to survive. But in game 2 he was 8th. Let's see how far he can go this time.
I think that's where we see a lot of our players who are kind of roughly in the middle of the table right now. They've all had that one good game, that one very bad game as well. We are currently on table 3, so we're all at the kind of midpoint. Again, here in day 1, it's all about getting into that top half of the field. So with all of these players right now, they're all at the kind of point where they could be heading in an upward trajectory towards the top, or if they have a few more bad games, they could even put themselves out of the possibility of getting into that top half at all.
Yes, and I believe if they were watching these past games or if they were busy in their own lobbies, they might have noticed that a lot of lost streaks made the people actually suffer a little bit in the early game. And right now the camera is on Balotelli, again with a potential either Gunblade or a strong warrior, maybe with that Herald item slam. He already has 2 Guardians, so putting that Blade with maybe a Herald with these 2 Guardians might be able to give him some early game power, but apparently he's not getting a single warrior on his board, which is very unlucky. Now, I don't know what the Mirage is still in this game. Oh wait, it's actually Executioner's running on top right. Thank you, production. I might have missed it while it was right ahead of me.
Sure, I mean, we saw before, it's still enough to get people back and playing in Mirage, so fully expect to see that, at least one player, maybe multiple players going for that. Another concern we have, of course, is to see a whole bunch of J coming through as, oh, hello, we have got ourselves some interesting augments and some classic augments. Unfortunately, Balotelli goes for the classic because it's very, very good.
Yeah, he didn't even think about that for an additional second. He saw the Ascension and he was like, give me that, baby. I've got Guardians, I've got Bruisers, maybe a 2-star on that corner. He knows he will have the time to survive. He knows he will have the time to activate the augment and make full use of it. Now, that corner is glowing up on that 2-star. He's winning like, buy me. I have a BF. I have a potential to become a good Zeke. He's with some attack speed that might combo with my shield and my ability, bumping up a lot of attack speed for that corner. But I think Balotelli did not buy this corner, and he might be waiting just in case he wins that shop or not. And we have a potential Shimmer game from the side of Zofu.
Yeah, I was expecting, we did see this in our previous game. Unfortunately, didn't ultimately turn into, the incredible Shimmer Scale 9 setup, which we've seen do extremely well in previous tournaments. But we've got the potential here. Unfortunately for Sapphire, they haven't got quite the right units to get Shimmer Scale immediately, which is, of course, the best case scenario, because you can start generating gold from the very first round.
Yes, and the Shimmers are very, very effective, whether you have like 3 of them or 5 of them. Whatever item you get in the sword, you can't really go wrong with Shimmer Scale items. Again, they're very situational. Yes, you would probably want the Needlessly Big or the Determined Investors at the start, because you can generate a lot of gold through these. And if you get the Blade, it's kind of unlucky. If you get the Gold Master Staff, it's not the best, but still, you can put them into use. We've seen a lot of players bump the Gold Mancers into stuff like Kane, maybe, with the Frozen Heart that he has on him right now, for a good mixture between damage and still tankiness, being able to hunt down the backline. But what is the first Shimmer Scale item is going to be? Place your bets, Counterfeit, because there are a lot of guesses. So far, we have no idea what it's going to be.
Well, taking a quick second to talk about our augments which we've got coming in over here. We can see that we've got some fairly aggressive options. We noted, of course, the Ascension coming in. Gadget Expert, again, another one of our tournament favorites, nearly always gets shown up. For the most part, these do look like relatively aggressive, on-board power kind of augments.
Yep, and we have something that we love to highlight, Kubixon, who's currently the youngest player in our league with 15 years old. He was the winner of the Polish regional qualifiers, so this man is definitely having a huge surprise for us in this tournament, and he has the potential, starting from Makes, by the way, to become the next double 61 on the board with the TFT Championship currently going on.
I mean, that's quite some big shoes to step into, but I think it reflects where we are in the TFT scene right now, that we've got, those exemplars to call across and say they might be the next X or Y. This is a path that has been trodden before. But Kubixon, to talk about what they're actually doing on their board right now is something which we haven't actually seen on screen so far, is that we've got a Varus comp coming together here, which we know is extremely good.
Yeah, he's gonna go for the Lily 100% to toggle in with the 3 mages. Or wait, he goes for the Jinx, surprisingly. Despite the fact that Lilia would have given him the 3 mage combo. Now, I find this move a little bit confusing. As in, why the Jinx? He might need a little bit more damage from the backline. But I think that this Vlad is gonna suffer majorly. He's not getting that double heal from the Nami. He's not getting the double heal from his own ability. So maybe I think Kubixon right here is definitely looking for the lost streaks. Otherwise, he would have put the Lilia. So yes, it makes a lot of sense. And with the Lily, I don't think he was able to actually win this round again. Still, 45-45, 54-54, I mean, has a very, very strong early game. But he would maybe be able to kill more units, thus losing less HP. And we highlighted this in the past game's Counterfeit. Losing too much HP in the early will put you in danger.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're keeping a close eye on. So you can see Canbizz, Kubixon, they are the ones who are at the bottom of the scoreboard right now. joshychan and PasDeBol up at the top, completely undefeated. With just 2 points of data, we've already got a relatively strong case that playing strong early on is the right way to go, just because it gives you so much more room in the later game to put together your economy, to put together these ridiculous boards, and guarantee yourself, if not a top 4, then maybe even a top 2.
Yep, and right now we have pretty nice components given up on the people ahead of us, and the Karma 2 popping up here for PasDeBol. Again, he still has that one warrior that I'm not sure who was playing the Shimmer skills, but I believe that one of our players was missing just one Aatrox for the 3 Shimmer skills in the early start. They're gonna push up that Hodge on the Karma, aka the Hand of Justice. Again, one of the strongest items you can slam on her. It gives us a nice Omnivamp, makes her survive a little bit. Again, it's not really that, let's say, lovely that you see it on the Karma. You would want something more like an Archangel, a blue buff, a Giant Slayer, just in case somebody has an early Dragon or Bruiser's comp ahead of you. But the Hodge will make the Karma deal some damage.
Yeah, I mean, I like what we got from PasDeBol. They kept their win streak together by just playing the strongest board possible. Cybernetic Ornaments made them a little bit stronger as well, but what Sasa is up to here is really fascinating. We've got the Heimerdinger itemized in the backline, doing a pretty good job. We know how much Panda enjoyed having that grenade just make a complete mess of things. This early on, if that Heimerdinger is casting frequently, that's a not insignificant quantity of the opponent's board that's being stunned.
Yes, and right now the potential for the 3 Jades innocently slamming it with the Gnar. Might be selling that thread just for the economy. And we swap right into Sasa, who's currently the only one with 100 HP. Haven't lost a single round with the Heimerdinger MVP, with the Rage Blade and Static Shiv on that Heimer, just because the gadget expert that he has. It's kind of weird that you see a Heimer having these 2 items, but again, because of the Static Shiv, and it's because he's his first 2-star, he'll be able to output some nice damage. And I think he watched the past 2 games was the Heimer were actually the MVP of so many boards Counterfeit. What do you think of the item slamming on Heimerdinger idea?
Well, I do like it here. I mean, it tells us that Sasa's going to be going towards, the Corki setup later on. That Heimerdinger's doing a remarkably good job as an item carrier. joshychan being pushed further down, and yep, that's Sasa coming out of round 2 with the Sing. You can see there actually the damage actually the same amount as a 1-star Sona.
Yeah, again, the value given from that Heimer is not that much with the double item slam, but again, the Sona with no items at all, putting in that work, being able to reach it to the Krugs with 5 wins, has the Senna 2-star, might be slamming her right after the Krugs, maybe forcing a level 6, but this is the best start that you could ever ask for. You have the Titans on the Tom Kench 2-star, paired up with the Shen for a Bruiser, and again, Shen is one of these units, just the same as the early Sona that he has, one of the strongest front lines. You don't have to put items on that unit. Soon as he fires up his ability, he's gonna deny every single basic attack fired up at him. Shen is one of the strongest and one of the most, let's say, basic frontliners you're gonna see. You can fit him into almost any composition.
Oh, for sure. I mean, in that he's preserved somewhat in set 7.5, more or less as Jax, is a representation of how essential it's been to the design of these sets. And so we'll have a quick look down the right-hand side and see where everybody is right now. Canbizz and Kubixon, they're both... I mean, we're seeing exactly what we saw before. We've got 2 players who are both very low already. Big separation from the rest of the field. It has not gone well for either of the players doing that so far in our opening 2 games.
Yeah, Canbizz might have a little bit more luck after that second augment, which is currently waiting for, rocking 61 gold right now on him. Now, we've had a few games that were kind of worse than this. If I'm not mistaken, we had game 1 with Dropson, if I'm not mistaken, he was with 50 HP at 3-1, and he still managed to come back because of the Whispers emblem. Now, 64 HP in 3-1 is not that bad. In fact, it's really good that you were able to keep up until this stage in the second augment. We're not gonna say he lost too much HP, because we've seen worse. But now, with 51, he's down to almost the average. Yeah, that hurts.
I mean, we've got a good setup here for Canbizz. You can see that they're building towards the Jade board later on. We've got that tunnel protection there, which means that we're pretty much tied to this. And we've got the chance now to put in perhaps second wind if you want to double down. It's always painful to see augments like late game specialists coming through, which give you this insane value. But for Canbizz, I think level 9 seems so very far away.
Yeah, late game specialist might not be the most interesting augment to him right now. He's rocking 51 HP, so he's not getting into that late game until level 9. So he decides to take the second wind. Again, the value from this augment on 1 is not going to be that bad. And alongside his front line, it will give him some more to survive. Now, we've got all the augments ahead of us. Counter Fate, does anything bat your eye in front of these people?
Well, we've got the second wind, we saw multiple times. For Sasa, we've got the featherweights coming in as well, so we're doubling down on the early strength. You know, you've got the gadget, you've got we've now got the enhanced Heimerdinger as well, which is honestly fascinating because presumably we're not planning on staying here long term.
Yeah, you know what? I want to see with that Heimerdinger a Swift Shot emblem. No, I'm just kidding. But with the featherweights and the static and the rage blade he has on him, you'd almost think that this is the next Zaya we're having set 7 right now in the Heimerdinger. Of course, again, if these items were in Sona, she was probably able to deliver more and more, but I think he's more of an item holder right now, or maybe he might search later on for a magnetic removal. I'm not sure what's the plan, but buffing up a Heimerdinger was one of the weirdest strats that I've seen in my life so far. Again, the Sunfire board against him for Emperador was not that effective. The Tahm Kench with the Titan's Resolve is way too tanky because of the Bruiser Shen helping him with that extra HP.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a little bit tricky to get past, and I think it's for Sasa. I do like this decision here. I mean, you're only giving up the strength to a silver augment to keep your win streak going. And what we have established from the early games is, well, it's very well be that Sasa will eventually end up going towards a Corki board once they've got the pieces put together. What they are preserving, what they're exchanging this augment for, is keeping their win streak going as long as possible. And that's a lot of money you're getting for a silver augment.
Yes, and the fact that he already has the Evoker buff because of the Sona and the Lulu, following up these triple trainer composition right now, this Nomsi is going to be getting fed way too quickly. And in the late game, soon as he passes, if he can actually keep up this win streak up until the Wolves, I can assure you that Sasa will not lose a single round afterwards. Again, he's able to survive even against Salu's very strong board, dropping him down to 4th place below Emperador. But again, he's way too dominant. Not a single round lost until now, Counter Fate. And he's still able to keep with good economy. 30 gold, 1st place, not a single round lost. Impressive.
And we did have a nice shout out from Makes pointing out to us that the Northern Europe qualified players are all in this lobby. Tian, Brubber, and joshychan. Tian coming through as our number 1, Brubber as number 2, and Joshi as number 3. Of course, this isn't necessarily a good thing for my particular region because it does mean that there's a good chance that at least one of them is going to get pushed out of this game by one of the others.
Yeah, and the luck might not be really going on for Kubixon this round, sadly, because production just told us that he rolled all of his gold around 60, and he was only able to hit Varus 1, rocking on a Nami 3 and an Alawi 2, so maybe he might find some more sustain with that, but a Varus 2 finally hits him on the board with the perfect itemization for him. Deathblade, Hurricanes, and Rage Blade, and the phony frontline, it's almost as if when you have a perfect board. Now, the Luden's Echo are gonna be quite effective to pump up that damage with your triple mage setup on the Nami and on the Rise, but he still has that duplicator to help him hit the Varus 3 if he needs to rush it. But with 9 gold, his econ is not looking best right now.
No, I'm not comfortable at all. I mean, some of our players were saying that the Varus comp was so much front and center of their minds, they would commit in every single piece of gold they had to getting to it as fast as possible, but we've seen this from our players before. If they get down to low economy and they don't have a big streak to keep them afloat, they end up floundering in the mid game, going win-loss, and they never get their economy going again.
Yes, and luckily enough, the Thresh did land his hook on the rise right here, so the Varus was able to put in all of that damage, and even better, the cherry on top of the cake, the Siphon, rushes on the Nami 3, being way more tanky than almost all of these frontline heroes, those champions that he's got placed on this board right now. So our hero for this, or the MVP for this round, was definitely the enemy Siphon that decided to dodge the Varus for this round, giving him a chance to do more and more damage. Thank you, Siphon.
Oh boy, but I think we get to see a little bit of why people like the Varus so much, because with Jade being pretty much everywhere, we saw it was particularly in our first lobby being across multiple different ones, just having an answer to the Shioyu of just stunning them in place repeatedly is one of the very few ways you can deal with such an incredibly tanky monster. As we head across to Sasa, they keep their win streak still going. They may officially make it through Stage 2 and Stage 3 undefeated. And if they can take out Kubixon here, they'll also render Kubixon more or less goldless, streakless, and exactly what we're talking about, floundering.
Yeah, the double Nomsi 2-star right here, way too strong, but I think Kubixon might be able to pick up the first win against Sasa right here, taking them off from their first defeat with 12 HP down. Again, you're supposed to roll on that Varus composition at level 7 for the high chance for the 3 stars to be coming, but again, he was very, very low on HP, so it was kind of a desperate reroll as we call it. His icon is really bad, but it's fine. He's able to keep up. He finally got the win streak. He's fired up, as you can see right now, in the 5th place, but at least they can save up more and more money, and hopefully the items they get right now. Ooh, the Draven Axe! No.
Oh boy, this is, I mean, we've been threatened with Shimmer Scale in our previous games. I think this is finally going to be the game where we get to see that Xayah come into the backline. When you put all these things together, we have a board that can potentially go all the way. They only need to be able to pick up one more spatula, and they can bring in a Shimmer Scale spatula and threaten Shimmer Scale 9.
9 Shimmers, 9 Shimmers, that's what I want to see, and the Crown killing everybody every 4 seconds on the Zoe. Most probably the most famous unit that you see a Crown on. And again, the third augments, I wish it's either a Spat or it's another Shimmer that makes them able to get the 9 Shimmer comp. Now, looking at the board of Kubixon, he still is able to roll all of his gold to get a Varus 3, but he's still with 6 gold at 4-1. Yes, you did get the 3 on Varus, the 2 on Ilawai, but you're a little bit far away from the 3 on Ilawai. So your front line, if it wasn't for the funny front line, would be so weak right now.
I'll say, oh damn, I just lost the economy before it went away, but just in brief, Sappho and PasDeBol are the players who are currently economically afloat right now. Everybody else is suffering in this lobby because they've been having to spend out to try and stave off these big losses coming in. We actually get to see Kubixon handing out some of those big losses of their own because they've finally hit their stride properly, and I think they are going to be able to push their way up the table in a way that a lot of our previous players haven't managed to do.
Yeah, and apparently I did hit Balotelli with that Caster's Curse, but even in this game, he's still at the 8th spot. He might be the first one that we say bye-bye to, and it's gonna be a prismatic augment round, baby. And there you go, the Earth bag, and we're getting 9 Shimmers from the board of Zofu.
Heavy lies the crown, but Sappho is ready to take on that burden. There's the diamond hand. Soon Sappho will be swimming in money and pain. We have got the recontextualization of the board. We don't have a Zoe as of yet to be able to get up to that crown state, but with Sappho at level 8, you have to imagine it's only a matter of time.
Look at the items. He has a whole shop right there he could give and sell components and items to the other players. And there you go, the needlessly big gem to give him more and more money. Now, all of these Shimmer items are not gonna be coming into full potential because he's sitting on 0 gold at the point, which is not something you'd suffer as a Shimmer. All of your items and components, yes, they get way stronger the more gold you have, but why would you care? You have a Draven, you have Draven Axe, you have 7 Shimmers, so that gold is gonna be coming anyways. And the fact that he was able to hit the IDES 2 really early, this Shimmer scale composition has the potential to become our winner in the lobby right now.
Yeah, it's going to be real scary once it gets some money behind it. We can see, even without the money powering up the items, those items are still dropping a little bit of gold. We'll have our Draven's Axe payout eventually. But this is, you're right, the window of opportunity for our players to put down the heart onto Sappho before they really come online.
12 gold from a single round with the Draven Axe cash out. And this is the beauty of the Shimmer skill comp. And again, I don't think that the Draven Axe was even cashed out yet, but look, 12 gold in a single round with the Shimmer skills, even before the bonus you would get get, and that is the beauty of Shimmer Scale. You have an immense amount of items, you have an immense amount of gold waiting for you to activate these items, and he's switching to the Corki carry. Why would you not love to see that?
Yeah, I mean, this is what they were, we were talking about how Sappho was giving up a lot of their gold to roll down. That's what they were really looking for, a Xayah or a Corki. Now they've got the item carry in the backline, they can keep on stacking up throughout the fight. And against Canbizz's comp here, which is, a very melee-focused comp, no one's going to be threatening Corki the entire round, so he can just keep stacking up the Draven's Axe and get that big payout much, much sooner than they should be getting.
Yes, and right now, I don't think that he's going to be losing a single round with the amount of damage he has on this Corki. And again, with the Needlessly Big Gem giving him more and more damage as he survives. I mean, Needlessly Big Gem is essentially an Ascension augment if you can wait on it with some gold. So he's playing with 4 augments right now if he can bump up that gold for the Needlessly Big Gem to start working out. And I guess we did give him another caster curse. He's going to be becoming 7th place at this point, contested with Balotelli. And what item would you take from the carousel right now?
Oh gosh, Sappho I think was really praying that they would see a Zoe come through to their side of the carousel and they could really get off to the races, but it is not to be. So Sappho has a really hard choice here of, do they keep rolling hoping that they find a Zoe, or do they just wait and let those enhanced Shimmer Scale items, which are enhanced by them having some gold in the bank, carry them to the point where they just natural the Zoe instead?
Yeah, it's a hard decision to make if you were Zofo right now, but he knows that by cashing out that Zoe, it's all he needs in order to be able to execute a unit every 4 seconds and give himself a free win by just positioning the board to save the Zoe with the crown of the Shimmer. But again, Kubixon still winning, but still, again, with the Radiant Ziki that he has right here from the augments, he is going to be able to get that verse, a whooping Omni Vamp and attack speed buff, and this board is looking pretty strong despite the econ. You're level 7 with 2 gold, but God, it will be so hard. And there goes the Zoe, the 9 Shimmer has entered the chat, ladies and gentlemen. The first crown we get in the Superbrawls of day 1.
Alright, we have arrived at the Doom Zone. joshychan will be our first victim. You can see Zoe just calmly ticking away on the backside. We get the deletions. It's not as, a world-endly strong effect as it kind of first seems on paper, but if a round goes long, you're pretty much guaranteed to win it.
Yes, and this is the thing about Shimmer Scales. At this point, he doesn't have to spend a single penny in order for him to cash out an execution from the Zoe every single second. And as we said, the Shimmer Scale only reaches its full potential when you have some money stacked in the bank. So yes, he spent all of his money, but it was totally worth it. Going up now from 7th place, and remember this, he might be the winner of this lobby. Kubixon still winning with 8 or 9 win streak, if I'm not mistaken right now, before the Treasure Dragon. Balotelli also surviving, and I think we will have our first lobby with around 8 players still alive until the Dragon. HPs this game are looking slightly better than the past 2 games, by the way, Counterfeit.
Yeah, we didn't see the same thing we saw before with, our bottom players completely dropping off a cliff. They were able to arrest their descent, but I think now the cliff has arrived in the case of Sappho. I'm fascinated to see how these two measure up against each other because they're both blindingly strong.
Yep, and again, the Shimmer buff with him right now, Kubixon, one of these 2 kings has to be dethroned, and Zufu cannot afford any more losses. He has to take that win. He has to get that crown on the Varus, but he has no time, and the Varus goes down right now. The Zoe on the hands of the unkillable Varus, and Zofu is 1 more round away from getting outside here from the Superbrawls game 3 with 14 HP. What would you look for in this Treasure Dragon? I think you need more and more front line if you were Zufu.
Oh, for sure. I mean, at this point, you've got the Varus 3, you've got them incredibly strong.
Another Zekies!
I mean, yeah, why not? It's going to be pretty tempting. There is always a possibility of Kubixon to try and, build up to level 8, throw in another Swift Shot to be able to get, more and more value. Because right now, the double Zeke's, one of them being Radiant, is, it's doing well, but it could be doing amazingly if there was another big AD carry there to power up as well.
Yes, again, if you would be able to put someone near that Varus, maybe let's say... Who would you want with another Swift Shot, by the way? Would it be Xayah, maybe, with the Astrals? This is the thing, you have a guild effect, maybe that will give her a lot of damage, and with the double Zekis, she's already kicking off with about 90% attack speed, not putting aside, of course, in consideration the triple or maybe quadruple Swift Shot if you're able to pull it into this composition. Maybe sacrificing the mage for quadruple Swift Shots. That could be an option. But there is one rule that says never change a winning board, and with 9 wins, Kubixon is going to be sticking to the double Zekis on Varus as the only carry for now.
I'd be fascinated to check in with Emperador for a minute, though, because they have been quietly working way towards the top of the table. They're the only player with a good amount of money in the bank, and they're also building up a streak. It's not a 9-round streak like Kubixon has got going on, but it's still a decent 3-round, so hopefully we'll be able to see them in a second. But we have got joshychan to attend to at the bottom of the table, actually, because they are very close to being knocked down.
Yup, and now we have the battle beginning with the Cannoneer Siphon. Is he able to put enough damage or not? Joshi is very low on HP right now against Balotelli, and if Joshi loses this round, he cannot survive anymore in order to be able to stay against Balotelli. One of these we're going to have to say goodbye to, and I think it might be Joshi because, yes, the Siphon of Balotelli manages to get the final rush, but the Nami would be life-stealing with that BT, and the first one we're going to say goodbye to in that lobby is going to be joshychan.
Oh my gosh. It's such a heartbreak to see the UK players getting knocked out like that. I mean, this lobby, again, we didn't have the big drop-off we saw from before, but the bottom half of the players are still in a pretty precarious position. PasDeBol, Sappho, and Balotelli, both, or all of them rather, are below 20. And while the rest of the table isn't massively far ahead of them, Kubixon at the top on that win streak with the Varus 3. They are not just winning their rounds, but they are destroying their rounds, which means there's very little room to maneuver.
And now look at the double lockets in the front line of Mr. PasDeBol. The name is correctly spoken right here.
Close
against
enough.
Yeah, I think it's good enough. I think it's good enough. And with the Stand United is going to be way too strong right now. And the Zaya with
Barry
the
Baden must be very pleased to see that. So Barry Baden's our friend who refuses to play anything apart from one particular unit. Zaya is that unit, and in this case, we actually see Guild Zaya is alive and well.
Look at that feather drag back, completely obliterating the Siphon for the final rush. And you know what? This kind of reminds me of my Siphon in my own games. He just decides to rush against anything except the carries. Oh, that's a carry? No, I don't want that. No, thank you. Oh, is that a Chase statue? Yup, put that on my plate.
Alright, so we're really getting to the end game now. We've now got all but our top 2 players around the 20 to 10 HP range. And as we said from before, our players, they're spending every single piece of gold they can. They're not holding off for these hyper-cap late game boards because for a lot of our players, they won't get to see the hyper late game at all.
And right now, the camera is going on Emperador, finally hitting up these 9 Jade power spike that he has, but he's only on 1 gold right now, so it's the, as we said, kind of the last chance now with the double Shioyu. And these two people, the Sunfire board is going to be serving him really well against the Jade versus Jade combo because all of that healing from the Soraka will be heavily reduced on the Sunfire board, but he's lucky that his enemy doesn't have one like him, so the second wind against him from Canbizz will definitely be losing this round, and all thanks to the Sunfire board that was able to destroy the main aspect of the Jades, which is healing and attack speed. With the Sunfire board, you countered his build completely with a single augment.
And just a quick word about Canbizz there. As Witter was saying in one of our articles on the site earlier this week, Canbizz, one of the Carmine Corp players. Of course, everybody on the Carmine Corp side, arguably for the French side as well, living in the shadow of their teammate Double 61, of course, who has done such incredible things from before. We're still waiting to see, how not just who the next big French player is going to be, but just how many great next French players there will be.
Yeah, and right now Balotelli is only surviving on 2 HP. He was the 3rd person, or the 3rd spot, in our first game, and in the second game he was very unlucky to hit 8th, and we don't want him to survive in that again. And guess what? Counterfeit, speaking about the deja vus you spoke about in Game 1 and Game 2, we have another round where we might say goodbye to 3 players. Canbizz, PasDeBol, and Balotelli are now with below 10 HP, and even the 2 above them, Emperador, as well, is only on 13 HP. We might be saying goodbye to more than 3 people in this round. Maybe like 3 are gonna be going away already.
Well, Sappho is in range, but this is going to be the Shimmer Scale crown board. So, if the round goes long, this will go in favor of the Shimmers. Keep your eye out on that Zoe in the corner as the Dragons and everyone get mixed up in the center.
Yep.
The round is getting dragged out. The Corki is still firing in from one corner. The Zoe from the other. Surely, this is going to be the elimination. The Dragons are still up. We do have the stun for just a second. It's down to Zoe, but she's not hitting the right target. She's ticking through, barely away the invincibility frames, but no, the other Zoe trolls her, and Sappho takes the hit.
Yeah, the divine there from Zoe with the perfect skill that you could ask for in order to buy more and more time against the crown. And what else could you ask for? Even a Daisy to get and tank one more hit from that crown, giving Balotelli another chance to survive here, with Zoe being the Ultra MVP. And now look, he has a Banshee's Claw to give it to Siphon, making him block more and more ability damage, and he finally cashed out that Nomzi 4 to survive. We sadly said goodbye to Emperador, and now Balotelli, go big or go home. It's either you lose the game as bottom 5 or transition in this round as the top 4.
This is absolutely wild. Place from 3rd to 5th is on the line in this very round. So we got Zaya off in the corner, going to be pumping out the damage slowly but surely. We've seen what she can do. This guild setup is strong, and it's got the assassins onto the back line. The center belongs to Balotelli, with the siphons still remaining pretty strong. The shields from the Zoe will keep them alive for a little bit longer, and Zaya's left more or less by herself. One big ult, but it doesn't come through in time.
Yeah, and we're going to be saying goodbye to BasDeBol as well, and Balotelli finally manages to make it with 2 HP, with 2 wins, to become one of the top 4 right now, and it's going to be another treasure round, and we've got our top 4 finalists right now, and look at the HP gap between all of them. Kubixon with 14 win streak, despite the fact that he was at some point with 0 econ, 14 wins on that reroll. Varus absolutely dominating the entire lobby with the rerolls despite the 0 icon at some point.
Well, this is why we were talking about Varus coming into today. I'm
called it.
Yeah, it was. I'm calling it because that's what the players told me. You know, this is the comp that I'm astonished we didn't see in our first 2 games, because I think what it does is it leaves us in a position where we can't see what we saw in games 1 and 2, which is hyper late game. The Varus is arriving in the mid game, coming online, putting down pressure, meaning you have to spend the gold on staying alive rather than going to level 9 and getting this ridiculous capped out board.
Yeah, and honestly, shout out to us casters for the amazing work today. You guessed that the Astra reroll would be very amazing today, and guess what? We're seeing it almost hit top 1 right here. And guess what? Also put many eyes on Kubixon. That man is legendary for his age. He's one hell of a talent with 15 years. Might be our next champion. And definitely Kubixon, guess what? With the Astra reroll, able to rock it down. And now look at the Nomzi 4. The Siphon finally rushing with the Hand of Justice. He might be able to put one more dash in, and there goes the Corki. And we're gonna say goodbye to one more player. Who is it gonna be? The Siphon versus Siphon. Double dash, and it's going to be Balotelli surviving to top 3 in the Superbrawl.
Oh my lord. Yo, this has been such a ridiculously close game. Yeah, it's by a single round that everything is being decided. Kubixon, though, did take the loss in the previous round, so we know they're not unbeatable. And Sappho, the Shimmer 9 player, has also now picked up a Yasuo 2 as well. So Kubixon, they've been doing incredibly well so far, but even with all the HP and all the board they've got, they may have been overtaken now.
Yeah, let's go Kubixon with 36 HP, pairing up against 2 and 3 HP. If Zofo or Better Lady, lose 1 round, you cannot afford it anymore. It's okay. Zavo, you can do it definitely, and here it goes. The Shimmer against the Varus reload composition. The Pike not able to get that 1 execution, but the Zoe still rocking it with the Spear of Chojin. We need the Divine buff in order to make them survive, but it still looks firing up more and more. And look at the Pike dashing in and out and getting executions, but the Varus is still killing it, and no one was able to stop him as Kubixon wins this round against Balotelli right now in the top 2. Counterfeit, place your bets.
Oh my gosh. I mean, you look at the boards we've got here. We look at the same boards twice over, but there we go. We got switched around. I do like from Kubixon, they're trying to bring in elements of the hyper late game board. We've got the Zoe 2 coming, we've got the Bard 2 in. The only problem we've got is Varus, is a set point of power where they're not going to get too much stronger than they are right now. They've got the double buff in there. I think for that reason, Balotelli has got a chance of winning this one out, but it's going to be real close.
Yeah, and here it goes, the final battle in the Superbrawl. Is it going to be the Shimmer composition with Balotelli or the Kubixon comp right now on the Astra rerolls. Here it goes, the board hitting it perfectly, but again, the first look at him, he's a machine, firing up arrow after arrow again, stunning his board, and Kubixon might not be dethroned with the 15 win streak, giving it up to Balotelli. And ladies and gentlemen, you have your champion for the round 3 Kubixon from 0 econ at level 7 to 17 win streak or 16 win streak at round 3 in Superbrawl.
You know what? I